traffic, and Sam Champion with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast. Now, Eyewitness News this morning.
We have a developing story at 6 o'clock. Violence in New York City as demonstrators hit the streets in response to a police-involved shooting in Philadelphia. We have a live look at some of the aftermath this morning in Brooklyn. Hear why the police commissioner says that he thinks this is only the beginning.
Also developing, Zeta strengthening into a hurricane overnight, taking aim at the Gulf Coast, and now could hit as a Category 2. How the storm is expected to affect our area tomorrow.
And happening today, early voting continues in New York with massive turnout, but now officials say the lines have been so long they're actually illegal. How New York City is responding. And a very good morning, I'm Ken Rosado.
I'm Shirley Nalikat. Today is Wednesday, October 28th, halfway there.
There you go. And you are never more than 7 minutes away from weather and traffic. Sam Champion, I think you mean halfway to the end of the week.
Yes, I like that. However it is, I felt it.
Love it.
With you, Shirlene. Here's what's happening out there. We don't have the low clouds, that heavy fog that we had yesterday morning. We do have some showers, and we've got two completely different mornings going. Northern parts of our area are getting those showers, and look at this, the cooler temperatures in the 40s. Southern parts of our area are a little bit milder, and you don't have showers. Sparta, Ramapo, New Canaan, that's kind of the line, but you can see them getting into Yonkers right there. So some of this will clip out of the Bronx in toward the Whitestone, Flushing. You'll see some of those showers, but most of it is loaded to the north this morning. Heather, what's going on?
We have two accidents on Long Island, Southern State East, right near exit 26. We have this crash right over here. So it looks like we have really only 2 lanes squeezing by the scene, but of course everybody has to slow down and take a look. LIE West, right near exit 40. That is another accident, so lots of delays as you make your way into that spot. Look at the BQE. Northeast, you're just jam-packed. Earlier construction up by Flushing Avenue cleared. Street cleaning rules are in effect. Ken, over to you.
All right, Heather, thank you. At 6:01, now to that developing story in Brooklyn where dozens of people were arrested during demonstrations that quickly turned violent. Police cars set on fire, windows smashed, and at least one officer was hurt. It all comes in response to the police killing of a man in Philadelphia 2 days ago. Violent protests have been ongoing there, and other protests have popped up all across the country. And New York City's top cop says that he's expecting more of this in the coming weeks. Eyewitness News reporter Derek Waller is live in Cobble Hill with the latest. Derek?
Ken, that's right. Commissioner Dermot Shea says this could just be the beginning. This violence we saw last night extended to this Urban Outfitters that we're standing in front of here on Atlantic Avenue, where they're cleaning up, hauling away bags of glass right now and trying to get this all fixed up. This was a wild night. Check out this video. One officer was injured when this car drove through a line of cops. They tried to stop the driver, even smashing the windows, but the driver sped off. A couple hundred marchers took to the streets after that police shooting in Philadelphia, but this was not a peaceful protest. This was a riot. Fires set in the street, at least 9 police cars vandalized, graffiti and windows smashed on buildings. And now at the NYPD, it's all hands on deck as we approach election night.
We've been planning, Bridget, for months now, knowing that this election is coming up. We have a large contingency of officers on standby as well as deployed throughout New York City in uniform. You'll see them all over. But the advice is hopefully that there's been relationships developed too. Any business owners, the key is the communication with the local precinct staff and commanding officers.
And I can tell you last night, 30 people got arrested during that riot last night. And as for next week, the election day, 1,200 polling places across the city, and there's going to be cops at every single one of them. Reporting live here in Cobble Hill, Brooklyn, I'm Derek Waller, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Derek. At 6:03, it was the second night of unrest in Philly in response to Wallace's killing. Officers shot and killed the 27-year-old Monday afternoon after his family called for an ambulance to help him as he was suffering a mental health crisis. His family spoke out last night.
I was telling the police to stop. Don't shoot my son. Somebody had to be all accountable for what they did. If you're going to call a justified shooting multiple times, I mean, what kind of law we have?
Well, the Pennsylvania National Guard says that several hundred Guard members will be deployed in the city as the unrest continues.
We are now less than a week away from the general election, but voting has been ongoing here in New York for the last 4 days, and the excitement is in the numbers. Hundreds of thousands braving long lines to cast their ballot. Brooklyn and Manhattan entering six figures, as you see in this list, with Queens poised to join them. By the way, those long lines, apparently, they're not legal. For more on all of that, we go live to Eyewitness News reporter Candace McCowan on the Upper West Side. Good morning, Candace.
Sterling, good morning. We're approaching nearly 500,000 early votes that have already been cast in New York City, and early voting continues today at noon at those 88 locations throughout the city. But we have seen those days of long lines continuously wrapped around buildings once again yesterday as eager voters waited to make their voices heard. The State Board of Elections sending a reminder to local boards that it is against state regulations to have voters waiting in lines that exceed 30 minutes. So the hours have been extended in New York City. One report also pointing to poll assignments as one reason for the long line, saying that in some cases, a large number of voters were assigned to polling sites with the lowest capacity. However, voters seem to be taking the wait times in stride. We're celebrating our citizenship and our right to vote and democracy.
People are really fired up, that people are really informed about what's going on, and that people really want to participate in the direction and the future of the United States of America, and I think that's a good thing. The more, the merrier.
Well, those extended hours will go into effect this weekend with polls open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday and Saturday and 7 to 4 Sunday, which is the last day of early voting. That is 9 additional hours for those early voters to get in there and cast their ballots. Live this morning here on the Upper West Side, I'm Candace McCowan, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
All right, Candace, thank you. It's 6:06. New overnight, the Los Angeles Dodgers are World Series champions, but there is some controversy after a player tested positive for COVID-19 and then still celebrated with the team. You got to see the video. The Dodgers beat the Rays 3-1 to clinch the series in 6 games. It is the team's 7th World Series title and first championship since 1988. The win comes after a wild, labor-disputed and pandemic-shortened season. After the game, the Dodgers say they abruptly pulled baseman Justin Turner in the 8th inning because he tested positive for COVID-19. However, video shows Turner hugging teammates during post-game celebrations. Sources tell ESPN the league immediately called the Dodgers once they learned of his positive test and told them, take him out of the game.
It is 6:07. No mercy in court for the leader of an alleged sex cult based in New York. A judge laying down a harsh sentence for Keith Raniere. Now we are hearing from the victims. ABC's Megan Tevrizian has the story.
This morning, the founder of an alleged